The brown M&Ms. You may have heard the folklore of 1980s rock band Van Halen and their insistence that wherever they played provided a bowl of M&Ms with the brown ones removed. It's often told as an example of rock and roll excess, of prima donna behaviour, of general ridiculous behaviour. The thing is, though, it was a test. As a progressive band of the time, Van Halen's performances took advantage of many of the latest developments in music technology. Huge speakers, vast video screens, giant stages, and so on. They were unlike anything that many of the venues they played at were used to. So, to make sure all the relevant health and safety requirements were met by the venue, Van Halen produced an 80-page rider of what was needed to be done before they arrived. After all, you want to know for a fact that the 2-ton rig above your head is properly secured and the venue's rigging systems have been tested at holding that sort of weight, so you can concentrate on whipping the audience into a frenzy. And the best way to make sure the entire rider has been read and meticulously actioned when you arrive? Head straight to the dressing room and check for brown M&Ms. It's human nature to take what we know of a situation and frame it within what we already know and feel about similar situations. To subconsciously search our experiences for such similar situations and use what we know and feel about them to fill in the gaps about the bits that are missing, creating a whole story around a situation, which isn't necessarily entirely or even particularly true. People often hear a little bit about what we do and frame it with their own experiences and beliefs to make it something quite different to what it actually is. They hear from one of our members that they've reduced their carbs and increased protein and fat to make their diet more balanced. And they use what they believe to frame that as cutting out carbs, even though they're not. One of our many success stories will tell them that they no longer bother eating certain foods because they're already full of equally, if not more, tasty stuff that will also make them feel and look better. This will become they've cut out foods and are on a restricted diet, even though they're actually eating a wider variety than most who have the same breakfast, cereal, toast, juice, and lunch, sandwich or panini, low-fat crisp and Diet Coke, for example, every day. They'll hear about them doing workouts with us and they'll frame it with their own experiences to create an image of boring, soul-crushing workouts where us fit pros stand over people, ordering them to do burpees between mouthfuls of broccoli. Or they'll just somehow frame it in a way that makes it impossible for them. How their situation is different, how their job, kids, home life, general life means they couldn't possibly do the same. That's where things like the podcasts, which you can check out at theacademygtc.co.uk/podcasts, so people can see what it's really like for those real people doing it. And while we have the Find Out More meetings, people can find out the truth for themselves about what we do. academygtc.co.uk/briefing-meeting. Existing members can even find themselves doing the same of other members who've got further down the path than them. As an existing member reading this, you might realise that is you. In which case, let's start working on changing that story for a better one that will get you where you want to go. Much love, John Jump Hall and Matt Hot for Teacher Nicholson.